Hey everyone, Ridge6 here again. Yesterday I jumped into the 4.4 PTU and did a new contract from the Dead Saints, and today I would like to do some more. I'm here at Obituary in Pyro, and yesterday I had an Asperia Prowler utility. I bought it fresh in Area 18, and then a new 4.4 PTU update came out. And I no longer have the Prowler utility, unfortunately. So we're going to use the Shiv today. Under contracts, I want to click unverified here, and I'm in Pyro right now. Notice that after doing that first contract, there are two currently available. This one has us taking items from Rat's Nest here in Pyro, including carbon, widow, potassium, and others. They're large supplies, but look at this one. 226,000 credits for moving 8 SEU. Now it's drugs, Neon Slam and ETAM, picking up from two different places, Ashland here in Pyro and Devlin Scrap over by Microtech. So 226k. We're gonna give this one a try. So illegal, unverified, Dead Saints contract, starting in Pyro, heading into Stanton, taking Gray's Shiv today.
Thank you for visiting. Safe travels.
Okay, the first pickup is here in Pyro over at Ashland on Ignis by Pyro 5. Honestly, the Gray's Shiv is a perfect ship for these kind of contracts. I am bummed about my Prowler utility though. I thought that was a pretty cool ship. I might need to head to Area 18 and buy another one. Here's Pyro 5. Super cool. Okay, arriving at Ignis, one of the moons of Pyro 5. And we will jump down to Ashland Outpost. All right. Here we go. Don't see any other ships here, which is good, but when you're picking up supplies like this, you gotta be careful. Alright, I landed a little ways away. I should have parked a little closer, but this will work. We will just proceed cautiously. I don't have any extra mags for either of my guns, but I do have 2 guns on me. We'll try to play it smart. And I left the ship open, which is not a smart thing to do in Pyro, so I'm gonna go stand by the opening of the ship while the elevator goes down. I don't see anybody else here, but you can never be too sure. This is PTU, and there's probably not a lot of people right now in Pyro. They're all over in Nix. Alright, there we go. Pulling up the drugs. Alright. So, get these loaded up real fast and get out of here. This is one of 2 pickup locations for this contract. This is half the cargo. The other half is actually over near Microtech. These contracts are going to be big time pirate targets. Oh. Ouch. Still getting used to the new tractor beam speeds. Alright. Oh, stand up. There we go. Alright, let's get out of here. I do not know how I got some red on my hull, but let's go repair and refuel at Checkmate on the way. Alright, here we are at the Checkmate cloud. Move in carefully here. If you've never come into Checkmate before, you need to hit tab frequently as you come in because you can't see it until you get real close like this. And there are asteroids in the cloud as well that you could just run into, so just need to move in carefully. I'm going to come up underneath it here and land on one of the pads and do a quick repair and refuel. Like I said, my hull somehow turned red as I was jumping to Pyro 5. I didn't crash or encounter any other players, so I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but we'll land here real quick on the pad. Ooh. And get refueled. These contracts are going to be pretty time intensive because of the need to refuel, unless you're running something like a Drake Corsair. The Corsair would be great for these, actually. Alright. Here we go. Let's head to Stanton now. See you at the Stanton Gateway. I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite places in the verse so far, this spot specifically. I love all the asteroids and the color. It's just beautiful. And I like flying through this ring. Here we are. Back in Stanton. And going to do a quick refuel here again, just because the jump that we need to do is a pretty big one from the Pyro Gateway all the way over to Microtech. And the Shiv doesn't have the biggest of quantum fuel tanks. Alright, let's do this. While we're jumping, I want to look at what unverified contracts are available here in Stanton now from... Okay, there's hauling, those are the headhunters, but look at this, there's a tab called Hauling Interstellar, and there are the Dead Saints ones. 222,000, that's a larger supply of SCU, tree pollen, revenant tree pollen, and slam. 4 SCU of cryopod, so there's the cryopod one. 4 SCU of cryopod from Tisa Spaceport to Chala Beach. 202,000 for, oh, that's a lot of SCU. 64 and 64 of organics. 258,000. And look at that. That is, what, 6 SEU of drugs. ETAM, SLAM, Neon. Alright, yeah, there's a lot of money here. Okay, I'm actually intrigued by this one. This is a 6 SEU pickup from Grimhex, of all places, and then heading into Pyro. So we're going to do that after this one. Stop the jump a little bit short of Microtech because we are heading over here to Euterpe? How do you say that? Alright, here we are coming into Devlin's Scrap. I'm more familiar with Brio's Breaker Yard, but I think it's the same basic setup. And same basic idea. Fortunately, no other ships are here, so I'm going to sit down right here by the cargo elevator. And we need to pick up 4 SEU of more drugs. Here we go. I think that'll, well, no, the mule's not in the way. That'll work for the ramp. Awesome. Alright. No other players or no other ships here, so hopefully that also means no other players here right now, but we'll try to be quick just in case anybody comes in while we're here. So, again, I left the ramp down, so to be careful, I'm going to stand here in the doorway of my ship while the elevator goes down. And then, there we go. It's closing, so we'll get the drugs pulled up now. These contracts, these are going to be fun, but there are going to be other players who want to pirate you and that are going to camp these sites, I bet, and that are going to steal the cargo. I mean, this is entirely drugs, right? And so right now, I'm not experiencing much of that because this is the PTU and they're new missions, so I don't think a lot of people have really started doing these yet. But once they become popular, because they're fun and they're risky and they're unverified and not very huge amounts, I think these are going to be pretty high risk little missions. The payout's great, but there's going to be a lot of other players that are going to want to try to steal the drugs from you while you're doing this. I think doing it in a ship with a decent amount of firepower, like the Shiv or the Corsair, would be best for these kind of contracts. But it's still going to be risky. I mean, they're unverified and illegal, but right now there really are no NPC authorities going around scanning you or stopping you and checking for illegal cargo. I hope that comes in. I think that was a thing in the past, so maybe that's something that's coming back. Oh, got a little glitchy there for a second. But yeah, right now, I mean, the biggest risk for these missions is going to be other players. Especially over in Pyro at pickup locations and drop-off locations. Should be fun. Alright, here we are. This is where we're dropping the drugs.
Here we are. One space, as promised.
I was kind of curious if it was going to not give me a space because of contraband or something like that, but so far so good. But see, it'd be interesting if you were coming into a location like this and there was a risk that you could be scanned by authorities of the spaceport. You know, not guaranteed, but there's a potential. And then maybe you need to run if you see them coming towards you to scan your ship. That could be a lot more fun than just, because right now they're unverified, but yeah, players are the risk. Let's quickly get this unloaded and complete this contract. Last one. Actually, I think, no, one more. All right. Now this is the last one. Okay. Yep. Let's complete this contract. Hopefully it works. Interstellar drug smuggling. And let's just make sure the payment goes through. So I'm currently at 10.735 million. One of the objectives completed. Another one. There should be one more objective. There it is. So that should complete the contract. There we go. Contract complete. Let's see if we got paid. And we did. 10.962. All right. And the rep, that took us halfway up rookie rep. So it did build our rep. And let's do this one now. Head over to Grimhex to pick up 6 SCU of drugs to take to Pyro. See you at Grimhex. Alright. Here we are at Grimhex. I don't see any other ships in the area. I really think everybody's over in Nyx. I already had the pleasure of seeing Nyx a little bit. There was a lot of lag when I was there. I think it did improve with the update that came out today, but I'm having more fun with these contracts right now, so is that my, yeah, there's my hanger. But I mean, once this goes to live, these contracts, and especially, I mean, picking up some drugs from Grimhex, I mean, that's a decently risky thing to do. You're going to have other players in the vicinity that are aware of these kind of contracts, and so while these can be a big time moneymaker, there's also going to be a decent amount of risk associated with these. Let's go ahead and refuel. Alright, here we go. 6 SEU. Nice. Alright, I'll go ahead and get these loaded up quickly. Alright, last one. Let's leave Grimhex, and all of this is going to Pyro. So back to Pyro we go. Maybe to speed up my exit, I'm going to go ahead and select the Pyro Gateway as my location so I can just quickly get the jump. Pyro Gateway. Wait, what? No, I don't want the Pyro Gateway in Nyx. I want the Pyro Gateway in Stanton. That's a weird little bug. There's 2 Pyro Gateways now, I guess. Alright, I should have done that before the hangar doors even opened, but oh well. Let's bug out of here quickly. Where is my marker? Oh, there it is. It was over on the right. Alright, not the quick exit I was hoping for, but let's go. Alright, almost to Pyro. go. Alright, back in Pyro. These are time-consuming interstellar jumps. And again, need to refuel before making a long jump. There we go. So Rustville is going to be the first stop. This is a little outpost over on Pyro 1, which is one of my favorite planets, actually. So let's jump over to Pyro 1. There we are, the beautiful Pyro 1. Love it. Alright, so Rustville is a little headhunters outpost. Headhunters, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah, headhunters. I've delivered cargo here a lot for Redwind hauling a few patches ago, but haven't been here in a little while. Go sit down right here. That might be a little close. The ramp I think will hit, so let's move forward just a little bit. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so for Rustville, we are just dropping off 2 SCU of ETAM, which is that one. Yep. So, oh, there we go. I really should have poked my head out and looked around for players before I did that, but we'll just be quick. I didn't see any other ships here when I came in, but who knows. Perfect. It looks like it's processing correctly. So one question I have though is I need to refuel, so where would be the best place to go for that from here? The Shiv's quantum tank is not very huge. So, and we've got to jump over to Pyro 5 again. But I actually think, there we go, objective complete. I think I might be able to refuel here. If I land on this pad right here, I think this is one of the outposts where you can actually refuel. Let's see. Yep, sweet, there we go. Refuel, and then we will jump over to Pyro 5 again. We need to go to Sears Canyon and Fallowfield. Yep, quantum fuel at 100%. Let's go. Alright. The numbers don't seem to be correct here in the distances, and when I click, that's not doing anything. It's not bringing it up on the star map. So, let me just... Well, let me... Where is the star map anyways? Like, it's not pulling up... So let's search for Fallowfield. Yeah, look at that. It's not even pulling it up, but it does look like it set a route. So let's jump to Fallowfield. There we go. Why do I have a marker over here? Return to Grimhex. What in the world? Alright, so there's a bug. That's obviously not Grimhex. I'm going to ignore that and hope that does not mess up the contract. Let's go to Pyro 5. Alright, I'm going to stop a little short. Alright, let's cancel that. That should let us jump straight to Vatra. Jumping into Sears Canyon now. Beautiful Pyro 5 in the distance there. So there's a Polaris here at Sears Canyon. It is down. It's not giving me a player name when I target it on comm, so that's good. I hope no one's there. It might just be an abandoned Polaris. It is down in the little canyon there below this area, and there's a up on top of the ledge. Sears Canyon's off the cliff to my right. There's a oh, I landed a little earlier than I thought, but that'll work. There's this little cargo elevator up here on top of the cliff, so I'm going to quickly use this one. Hope that no one's in the Polaris. And let's drop off this cargo. So I need to deliver 1 SCU of SLAM. There's SLAM. So we'll throw this out. Whoa! Steady. Okay, my ramp didn't like that location. And then 1 SCU of Neon. There's Neon. Alright. That's it. So let's put this out. And let's just be quick about it. Risky, risky. I've noticed that the engines look like they're still on with the Shiv, even though you turn them off. I definitely have them off, so that scared me for a second that I left the engines on. Alright, cargo is going down the elevator. I'll wait here for just a second while that processes, and hopefully that return to Grimhex objective is not going to throw off this contract. Okay, perfect. Sweet, let's go. Leaving the dark side of Vatra. Welcome to Pyro 4. This is our final destination. One of my favorite planets, maybe my favorite planet actually. And I feel like Fallow Field is one of the coolest locations in all of Pyro as well. It's got these loops or arches of rock around the little outpost. It's super cool. I've delivered cargo here for Redwind many times as well. And thankfully there are no player ships here again. I think just getting lucky because everybody's over in Nyx, like I said before. So, let me rotate a little bit actually. Perfect. Okay, last delivery. Notice I have 2 objectives to return to Grimhex now, so that's an interesting bug. Hopefully the contract will still process once all the drugs are delivered. But throw those out. And I'm going to raise the gate, actually. There we go. I don't see anybody. Man, it's beautiful here. Look at this. Look at the ground, the mud. Oh. And I love these red plants on my right that are here on Pyro 4. Okay, let's throw this down real fast. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think these are going to be high-risk missions because of other players trying to steal the drugs and whatnot that you're delivering or picking up. So while they pay well, they are high risk. So it's going to be fun. Waiting for that to process. Perfect. And let's see if... Okay, the return to Grimhex objectives disappeared, so that's good. Hopefully that means the contract will go through. Yes. Perfect. Let's see. Yep, 11.2. So I made, what? $500,000 between these 2 contracts. So there was the first one we did from Pyro to Stanton, and then the Stanton to Pyro, picking up a Grimhex. That's awesome. So super profitable. They are very time consuming though. Lots of travel involved, and look, my rep went up. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this enjoyable. They are time-consuming missions that did take me about an hour and 20 minutes, really. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these contracts. Are these something that you're going to try? Are you going to stick to more of the legal, verified contracts? Because there are some interstellar ones of those from different, like Ling family, which is new. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks, and like, subscribe, and follow along.